Hi, Dave.
Hey,
Okay, there was a few stories I must have remembered from my early days, over 50 years ago.
yeah, these are great.
I wonder what years these ones are. These are like early 50s, I assume. 51, 52, something like that.
Something like that. Sure. Copy link. Done.
Okay, Christmas for Shacktown. We've seen this one once before, haven't we?
Yeah, a few years ago we did
Yeah, it was a compilation of Christmas stories.
thought we'd make that an annual thing, but it didn't happen. Yeah. I didn't plan for the coincidence. It just happened to be this was volume 11, December.
Oh,
Didn't plan for
okay.
that. It just the way it happened. We started in February. So this is volume 11 and this is what it happened to be. Didn't plan it that way, just happened that way.
Okay, well, this is a rather nice little illustration of the poverty-stricken. Got the girl wandering along with a can full of firewood, patches on the clothes, uh, probably reflected the pre-war years. Uh, Wealth was fairly abundant after World War II, I think, but you had the Depression before then. 20s probably had some hard places. As a pre-war era that modern people are just not aware of. It's uh, Foods and goods were very expensive relative to today.
Yeah, everything here is from 1952 with one exception. The Big Ben on Kilmotor Hill was 51, but everything else is 1952. Yeah.
So this was probably reflecting uh, a world that was already a couple of decades in the past. You know what the source of the great wealth was that changed American society and the world?
Hmm. Oil.
Always on everybody's lips.
Oil.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, daily oil production, I think at the beginning of the 1930s was only something like about 1 or 2 million barrels a day worldwide.
Mhm.
Uh, End of World War II, it was about 5 million barrels per day. 1950 had doubled, 10 million barrels a day. 60 doubled again, 20 million. 1970, yeah, 70. Doubled again, 40. But didn't quite double again till 1980. Came out about 60, 65 million barrels. And that huge growth in oil supply, uh, which slowed down in the 70s, was seen as a huge disaster. But even in the 70s, they had a material growth that was greater than what we know today. Even the supposedly bad 70s, there was still a relatively large economic expansion. You can see by those figures, you go from 1930 to 1960, 1980, from about 1 or 2 million barrels a day up to 65 million barrels a day. And the literal incarnation of wealth. A lot of goods became cheaper, transport became cheaper, food became cheaper due to the green revolution caused by petrochemicals. But, Huey, Dewey, and Louie wandering around. This is stuff from pre-war. It's not so much post-war. Okay, so you're going to get into the Good Samaritan trip. Christmas draws nearer. Donald wrestles with his yearly problem. How am I going to get the kids enough gifts when I've only $5 to my name? Now, I was checking wages. See about, the minimum wage in the early 50s was about $30 a week. Okay, there's a nice little shot. Donald looking out the window, Christmas decoration, and the little bird looking at him. It's a bit like Jesus there, Why do you worry? Consider the birds of the air. Mary's looking for some money for the charity. Go to Uncle Scrooge for some money. He's digging his money like it's dirt. Got the old cannon protecting the door. We've seen that before. It wants $50. Scrooge McDuck, world's richest duck, and darn well going to stay that way. Now you considered that this cartoon work is pretty much him at his height. This is still pretty top form.
Absolutely. He was at his peak right at this period of time.
It's probably meant he was still enjoying it a great deal.
Mm.
He's still devoted to processing rather perfected images.
Yeah, great stuff. Great stuff.
Mister, you're going to donate to a Christmas party for poor kids. I'd like to, buddy, but I'm on my way to pay a bill I owe to Scrooge McDuck. Can't beat an excuse like that. Ah, there's what I want, a picture of old Jake McDuck, Uncle Scrooge's own uncle. I'll just dress myself up as him. I also remember that shilling I loaned you 60 years ago, you old deadbeat. Compound interest comes to 8,300. Oh. And he throws the disguise in the bin. It's uh, it's interesting. Where did he get the disguise from?
Sure.
So is he going to retain it as property? But here it's discarded. So it's a very symbolic image, isn't it?
Hmm.
It's a discard. It's literally representing something mental that's immaterial in his mind, the state of affairs, and portraying them as a material event. Oh, well, he's got a little rat. See a rat. We'll start eating bills. Gets the rat out. And he forgot he put the note in his pocket with the rat. Easy come, easy go. Oh, somebody's thrown a coin in.
Gotta give it up for the acting on the page, the acting in ink, the characterization, the expressions, the emotions that he puts in the characters.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Shows you all the emotions that the characters are going through.
Donald, haven't you any pride? Not when I can make $1 like this in 5 minutes. You've been here only 5 minutes. Move over. I'm going to muscle in on this easy day myself. The only good bench in the park, and he takes it. Hope nobody recognises me. I'll turn up my coat collar and look penniless. Oh, back to the town again. Uh, the rather hopeless looking children in their patchy clothing. So he's got mainly dog faces, but he's got a pig face. Gladstone Gander, my lucky, lucky cousin. Now, this is a very symbolic image. So Gladstone's looking at a bubblegum machine outside the candy store. There's something significant there about Gladstone's position in life. Now, this is a bit I really do remember. Yeah, when he's holding the hat out and somebody puts a hot coin and ends up in the snow, that I remember from the early 70s. With his warning that the coin might have been lucky for him, but it might turn unlucky for Donald.
Yeah, they reprinted all of these Carl Barks, Donald Duck, and Uncle Scrooge stories for many decades to come. That's how I read them.
Uh, I just had this is Natalia. I just had a big fight with my mum. after the temple they visited. My dad tried to calm us down and he cried, "I'll call you later if you're available." Oh, let's see. Got the Existential Society, then I'm going out to dinner later. I'll have to make some time. Uh, okay.
Yeah.
Uh, after 3 p.m. I can probably talk.
Mm.
The thing I noticed with Natalia, although she's in the mid-20s, her grip on reality is not that spectacular. She just doesn't size things up very well.
Mm.
I sort of, said to her that what she really needs, like her parents are here in the city, and well, she's got a full-time job now. She's had that for a bit over a month.
Mm.
5 days a week. So that's going to provide a sort of a basically reasonable income, particularly in Australia, I suppose.
Mm. Mm.
But she needs to sort of establish that she's her own person. I mean, she's got appearance here, and she's still hanging around with him like she's a kid. Sort of not like she's got her own stuff to do. And it's just one thing that she needs to do if she ever wants to get along anywhere or sort of grow up a bit.
Mm.
You found a wallet beneath the snow. Yeah, I remember that bit. Hey, I want that dime that fell through your hat. You do. Yes, there's something I want to do with it. Well, okay, but be careful. That dime brought me good luck, but it might bring you bad luck. So that's a bit that I remember. Gives it to Uncle Scrooge. Uncle Scrooge starts having bad luck. All his money's fallen down a cavern, a sinkhole. Looks like Bach didn't have the greatest of respect for academics. I wonder where he got that from. And it could fall further. Having oatmeal for breakfast, are they? Okay, they found another way down. Got their older toy train. Oh, this is a bit I remember as well, the toy train with the taking the money out of the cabin. Kind of thought I'd find you here, Uncle Scrooge. Uh-huh, and you'll find me here for a long time too. At the rate that doggone dinky toy train hauls my money out, I'll be here for 272 years. Okay, here's the money bin. Okay, it's a dangerous place to approach. To make sure they're identified. Danger minefield, sulfuric acid, various homebody traps.
Yeah, this was the introduction, first appearance of the money bin.
Oh, right, yeah, okay. In future editions, it's in town. It's not sort of on this isolated sort of fortress style. Well, the Beagle Boys are thoroughly the Beagle Boys this time. Why do they let these hoodlums out of jail? Which is precisely the problem they're having right now, aren't they? So I saw something in the news of some woman. She was approached by a guy. I think she was babysitting or something like that. And the woman's partner came back and he wanted to have sex with her. And he said, my partner said that's okay. And she refused. And he got wound up and stabbed her 22 times. Well, the case has been going through the court. And now he's been uh, in remand, or what they call remand in Australia, for quite a long time now. They've let him leave the jail. But this thing where he stabbed her 22 times, he wanted to have sex with her. And then he went haywire and stabbed her 22 times. I'd hazard a guess it's connected with methamphetamine. This is the modern scourge. Uh, I mean, we get crazy ideas. The story is that we get a crazy idea in our head, we inhibit it. But when people take these speed derivatives, the inhibitor doesn't work so well. That's part of the reason people have such a good time in speed, is it gets rid of the inhibitions. In order to save money, I didn't put any bottom in my bin. Well, the bottom's going to fall out again. There's an expression. It's the second time the bottom's fallen out. So it materially illustrates a more, let's say, abstract proposition that even though usually, your billionaires are wealthy on paper, but they've got all their money invested. If the market goes bad, they could end up in the red, in the court with into billions. Some common people don't understand. They think, yeah, it looks pretty good, the wealthy, but they can lose it all. There's that possibility, unless they've kept cash, a substantial amount of cash or something like that. And ordinary people don't understand the desperation of billionaires. They're not necessarily always want to gain more, but they certainly don't want to lose what they've got. Hence the politics. $500 triptychn multipodulin quadricaptulins of dollars and 16 cents. It's worth fighting for. Well, my name's not Scrooge McDuck. I forgot about my minefield. I forgot about my booby traps. Oh, those Beagle Boys, those terrible Beagle Boys. Okay, there's a trick. Just fill the money bin with water. And it freezes and the ice expands. You and your bright ideas. Okay, turkey dinner. Oh, that's right. The draws for the prize. Despite the odds, Gladstone wins the turkey. Strange events to make sure that he wins the turkey. How many tickets do you have left, ma'am? All of the tickets, 100. Nobody wants to buy. Everybody seems to have a turkey. Sell one ticket to Gladstone here, and I'll buy all the rest. Okay, Donald cross-dressing. That's right. The nephews stick pins in it. There's his car again. 1930s style vehicle. Avalanche Valley. Now, this might be one I think I sort of remember, but not quite as well. I was probably attracted to concepts around money or spectacular natural vistas were the thing which attracted me and I kept in my memory. I think I remember the avalanche bit. Okay, Donald's song. That was a thing in the 50s where people, as a sort of a diversion, people could get their own records cut on the spot. So they'd sing their song and they could take it home and play it on the phonograph. And of course, that's easy for us today in almost any circumstance where we can record our voice. But back in those days, it was a bit of a rarity. You had to get this 45 or something like that cut. Well, they did have sort of a tape recorder back then, but wasn't always as widely used. So apparently the snow can't stand Donald's songs. It's causing the avalanche. Okay, well, he's buried at the end of this story. Scrooge McDuck, the world's richest man. Look, there's the mayor and the commissioner. They're being kicked out. You cheap, stingy old phony. What didn't he do? We just wanted him to fund a statue of his town's founder. The Mother Raja of How Do You Stand? Got an elephant for a figurine on the car. So Pride intervenes and there starts to be a arms race on building statues to the town's founder. So in the at the end in the commentary, they thought this reflected the arms race between Russia and America. Yeah, I don't know about the early arms race. It's more typified by the nuclear missile arm race of the around 1960. Solid gold, 40 feet high. Look at the turban, those emerald eyes. And Uncle Scrooge has an even bigger statue of himself. The Mother Raja is now broke. Your safe is empty. You're broke too. Broke me. That was only my petty cash safe. The big money bin is 3 cubic acres in the basement. Uncle Scrooge, why don't you be big-hearted and give the Mother Raja a dime for a cup of coffee? A dime? What do you think I am? A doggone spendthrift. Okay, he's trying to woo Daisy. The kids have got their racing pigeon, which is a bit old, which has had a bit of tough luck. He's trying to use the pigeon to send a romantic message to Daisy. So they rewrite his message. Okay, right. So that's why the pigeon swooned down. He had this weakness for tooting sounds or whistles being blown. It would attract him and slow him down. A nice little sunset there with the water gleam going right to the boat. Or is it a sunrise? Must be a sunrise. Quite violent, throwing pots at people. What's the beef, Daisy? Didn't you get my message? So they discover the weakness of the bird that will stop for a whistle. Okay, they send an SOS message. The note gets blown off by the factory whistle. But they come and discover the message anyway, sitting on the factory roof. Okay, Gladstone's grocery list. So this is all very methodical. She hasn't seen my reply here after 3 p.m. So no, she has this big bust ups with her mother. I wonder why.
Hmm.
Okay, he's walking along. He's got his shopping list. His shopping list shows up 12 eggs. Domestic dispute. The traditional food is thrown out around. Gladstone didn't catch that pie. Why? It was blackberry. He wants apple. Ah, an apple. No, I wonder how many figures like Gladstone were created. So Gladstone's just got this adventure that, what he wishes he gets. He doesn't seem to suffer too much from the curse of the gods. The gods will grant you their wishes. Gyro Gear Loose shows up. Have we seen him before?
I think you're right. I think this is the first appearance of Gladstone.
Oh no, I mean Gyro. Gladstone's shown up. He showed up in earlier issues. But I mean Gyro Gear Loose.
Right. Yeah. Jericho.
We've ended up like the stamp collector in the later. He kept on, he couldn't remember anything. He kept on leaving the stamp collection everywhere and kept on getting their names wrong. There's quite an interesting face on one of the nephews. Why are guys like Gladstone ever born? And make the rest of us feel so futile. Well, if there's any work to it, count me out. Yeah, she got the message. Oh, we want to see you get some money from Uncle Scrooge. Well, that's quite a test. My income has dropped $1 billion an hour. I've never been this unlucky before. Okay, do something which I normally haven't done before. Give away money. I've never given away money. They'll make me lucky again. Yeah, Gladstone is a bag of cash. What's in that safe? None of your business. If it's for valuables, why isn't money stored in it? That safe is for something else. So they suspect he's got his lucky charm. Now, this bit I remember. That night Gladstone goes to a movie, Red Hot Guns. Okay, Red Hot Guns, the movie. Does it sound like a good title for a Western? There's the blackout silhouette. The coast is clear. Everybody inside. Punk movie. Only been 6 wagon trains ambushed. I'm going home. Well, that's a bit I remember as well. So the extreme sarcasm. I've got it open. What's there? 1 dime. Yes, a dime. Okay, I'll confess. Once long ago, in a very weak moment, I took a job. A job? Yes, I actually worked. I earned that dime. So it's been an object of shame to him ever since. Oh, thinking about changing the tyres on the car she's got. Right. Okay. Yeah, back to last one's the dark silhouette. What the blaze is it? The 4th of July? Maybe it's an invasion from Mars. So this is gyro gear loose again. So I'll just check at the end, see what the hmm. So check that earlier one again. Let's see. So we've got gyro again. Okay, so this particular story. Gladstone's terrible secret. Does make any particular mention of gyro? Yeah, don't know if this is where he originally shows up. Okay, created in 1952 for Disney Comics by Carl Barks. Okay, right. Gyro first appeared in Gladstone's Terrible Secret. So that was the first appearance.
Yeah.
And so he very soon he's been exploited again for the next story with wacky inventions. A bit like the mad professor from Back to the Future. We're working with Mr. Gearloose. We're his assistants. Donald's quite right. This is all nonsense. They're heading into danger. Okay, he dresses up as a wolf, has been transformed into sentient. So it's a duck in wolf's clothing. And then it meets what appears to be a human. Hold on there, wolf. I'm not going to let you harm those little boys. Oh, I'm just a duck in wolf's clothing. Ha ha ha. That ain't half of it, buddy. I'm not a dog. I'm a wolf. I'm a human, a wolf in humanoid clothing. It's got a talking rabbit. And the wolf has developed a taste for roast duck. It's reversed, and the wolf just goes back to normal. Mister, can you spare a dime for a bunch of carrots? Oh, shut up. Just some shorts here. Rather inventive, but crazy. So something to roll with grass. Well, this is, the big adventure I remember quite well. Uh, so the guy's trying to find the map. So we've got, one of the great villains, actually. This is a very sort of villainous figure. This is a figure which is pretty low, even compared to the normal run of villains he comes across. Actually, starting to think now, this character, there is a Scandinavian angle. This sort of reminds me of Jack London's character, Seawolf, who was a Norwegian, and he was a really desperate character. Down to the last minute, he was just going to be at odds with the world and be mean and nasty and vicious and insane. This is Jack London's interpretation of the Scandinavian community in America. Yeah, he's found the map. Sharky. Now, this is probably the lowest character I've ever seen in the Duck comics. He's the absolute lowest sort of vermin there is. The other guys basically just mean, but Sharky, he's just such a schemer. He'll stab anybody in the back. So if he gets the Golden Crown, everybody in North America will be turned into slaves. And he does the crazy legal language all the time. Now, will you hand my client his map, or must I have you and everybody in America arrested for trespassing on his property? Horseradish and pure bunkum. How can that man prove he is Olaf's nearest of kin? Flacus, fetal dum dum. Legal language. So they're both going to try and save the day. Donald's going to, yeah, checked up. So the aircraft is the Constellation airliner, but it's missing the middle uh, fin, the middle tail. It's got sleeping booths, but they've made it to Newfoundland, and the bad guys there ahead of them with the boat. With an escort, Donald tries to follow. Now this is pretty much based on Seawolf. You're familiar with Jack London, are you, David?
My high school creative writing teacher was big into Jack London. And we, as a result of that, covered a bit of Jack London. And he was also into Ernest Hemingway. He was an ex-Marine.
Yeah, Jack London was a bit of a mystic. He claimed to remember a past life when he was a mariner, a European mariner, and he ended up uh, in Korea after a shipwreck, and ended up dying there. I don't remember this bit, the hellos in the fog. So this is the thing about this character. He just never gives up. And you can see from his face, which is the guy out of Seawolf. He's got a huge angst issue with existence. The world's let him down. He's going to take his revenge. And the museum curator is tracking out to see. And he's going to have to track over 100 miles, although he makes it. They figure out the headland, which the map showed, is decayed over time. But he doesn't realise that. What's his face? I suggest that you sue somebody, anybody, for millions of dollars damages for your disappointment, sir. And this is literally what we're getting sometimes today. There's no there's no cap on the outrageous sums of money that people are suing. I got upset one day, so I'm owed millions of dollars. Your political institutions will not survive. This is what's happening with America and the Western world, is their political institutions are slowly being destroyed. You don't blame Donald Trump. They were already laying the carpet for him beforehand in destroying their own institutions. So a nice little headland with puffins or something on it. Motors conked out. Oh yeah, it's a puffin. He's found the golden helmet. Isn't she a beauty? What a shame we have to throw it in the ocean. Emperor of North America, you slave. I guess the Indians don't get a vote. Yes, he will. Clunkus, bunkus, skunkus. It is the law. The professor's got the helmet, but he gets seduced. The gleam appears in his eye. And Sharky's there as a Sharky's playing the part of Mephistopheles. So he's the worst of the worst. He's the literal incarnation of the devil. I can own North America. Olaf the Blue, right. What was the other guy? Olaf or something? Every Sunday, there will be a museum party. People will bring their lunches and study ancient bric-a-brac. Okay, I'll make everybody go to the museum twice a day. And Donald's going to let everybody keep all their possessions. A great moment. But sir, what do you expect to own? Ah, the air. I'll own the one thing nobody can do without. I'll make people wear meters on their chest, and every breath they take will cost them money. An excellent idea, sir. A sigh could cost a nickel, a gasp a dime. Sharky, you know your oxygen. And Donald's maroons the rest of them on an iceberg with a promise he'll come back. So this is the demonic possession, which is a common theme, possessed by the negative characteristics, which is the basis of the adventure. He's given up on the idea of the helmet. Then I will be owner of North America. I, Sharky, the emperor of everybody. And this is actually a mistake because Sharky can only work through other people. He's Mephistopheles, He's the devil. He has to work through a human. When he's tried to take the spot of a human himself in the game, he's lost it. Oh well, helmet's lost. There's always a problem with the old water fountains. This is he's done some mathematics. I haven't actually followed this one through when Donald was charging less for more horses. And somehow Uncle Scrooge figured if he got enough horses, it would get down to zero. And you got to remember, what's 1,000,000 times zero equal? Zero. So obviously, and this is the way people work, if we make it 2,000,000 times zero, that's got to be a bigger number, right? No, it's still the same. But this is the fiscal element that's working in government at the moment, that when they try to inflate the money supply, it doesn't change things. In fact, it makes things ultimately worse, which is what Trump's probably going to do soon. They're already doing in Australia. Oh, well, nice little trip on the flatboat. I think I might remember this one. Not too sure. It goes over Niagara in the barrel. He's been gypped again. He falls for it. Tries to gyp Gladstone, but he gets lucky. Now, this is one I remember, Donald Duck and the Gilded Man. So they got the famous stamp, because I like stamps and coins. Now, this is leads me to the suspicion that Barks himself must have had a bit going in stamp collecting and coin collecting, which was quite common in his era. And this is a guy that just can't remember anything. And he hands out rewards twice. I'll pay you $1 to look through this old box of letters, which everybody else has done before him. Step into that line over there. There are 17 stamp collectors ahead of you. I think the claim coin collecting, stamp collecting's making a bit of a comeback with inflation. People tend to buy stamps because they'll buy it one day and then the price has gone up pretty soon. The 1 cent Magenta stamp of 1856, only one in existence. And he's gone out looking for the second one. Jaguar tries to jump in, but it gets jumped by the python. Got the monkey. It's tame as a kitten. Okay, find a lost temple. Now, this guy I remember, so El Dorado, is coated in gold. Some sort of giant. Falls through and the nephews paint him in silver. You're no longer gold, you silver. El Dorado. Ducks work great magic. Yeah, I remember the pants, the gold pants. It's a nice little shot, town immersed in water. Okay. Well, what do you think of all that? I think this is one of the better volumes.
Yeah, as I've said before, I think the this particular 5 to 7 year period that we're in right now is Barks's peak. This the material that he did during these years are pretty much what made his reputation. The most remembered stories, the most beloved stories. Yeah, certainly when his cartooning was at its best.
Okay, we've got 2 downloads for next week, volume 1 and volume 2.
Remember,
And this will be interesting. I think this is the one by that Japanese artist, isn't it?
remember to read right to left.
Okay, yeah. I was
It,
probably a bit mean on Matalia when she was doing the comic, insisting she do it normal. I feel a bit bad about that now, maybe.
when manga first started being reprinted in, well, in the West, let's say, in the 80s, yeah, they they tried to flip the pages so that it read from left to right. And they very quickly realized, yeah, that doesn't work. So they don't do that anymore.
Okay, I've got to run. So I'll be back next time. Thanks very much, David.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think Rick's gonna cancel again. I don't think.
Well, you never know your luck in a big city. Okay, I'll catch you another